I'm Kenneth Kinney, and welcome to another episode of An Education That Works, where every week Victory University profiles leaders in their community who've gone on to achieve phenomenal success in their careers after earning a college degree. Well, in today's show, we highlight a woman who was an immigrant to this country, who went on to start an advertising agency and became very successful at that. But she didn't stop there, because her passion for education and for helping people get jobs led her to create the first annual multicultural job fair. Alex Matlock is the owner and founder of Contigo Creative, a multicultural advertising agency. She and her team have gone to create the first annual multicultural job fair, an event that will take place on April 13th at the Hilton Hotel in Memphis. Join me today on An Education That Works with Alex as we discuss some of her own secrets to success, meet with some of her team, as well as speak to one of the panelists who's also going to be joining at the career fair. So join me now on Victory University's An Education That Works. All right, well, thank you for joining us on another episode of An Education That Works. I'm here with Alex Matlock, who's the owner and founder of Contigo Creative. Alex, thank you for being here with us on the show.
Well, thank you so much for having me here
Absolutely.
in your show. I'm
Thank
very
you.
happy.
Well, tell me a little bit about your own background. You now own an ad agency that's had a real footprint in the city. And talk about your own background in education and how you got from your degree to here in Memphis.
Yeah, I'd be happy to share that. I'm from Colombia, South America, and I'm from Medellin, the second largest city there. I started, believe it or not, med school, and I was in my fourth year of med school when I had the opportunity to come here. And so I really wanted to continue that, but to make the story short, I switched careers and I ended living in New York and ended with a marketing career. So from med school to marketing, but it was very important anyway to pursue that education.
Well, that's a pretty big difference, though. What was your passion in marketing that led you to do that?
Well, I think it was just coincidental.
Sure.
It was truly coincidental, because I thought that my passion it was medicine.
Sure.
And it's still my passion, but I love what I do, and I'm very happy that I make the switch. Circumstances of life, I would
Sure.
say.
Well, how do you think your degree and your education helped prepare you to be, a good business owner and a president of a company?
Well, the marketing experience really helped me to start working for a radio group, and I worked there for a few years, and then I had the opportunity to come actually to Memphis, Tennessee, and work for a Hispanic newspaper, and I worked there for 5.5 years, and that really opened my platform in Memphis, and I had the opportunity to establish a lot of relationships, and very strong relationships that I cultivated through the years, and then how I started my own business. I'm coming from my father and my mother, coming from owning their business. So I saw that part. So that part was so much in me, that entrepreneur person, it is in me. And I saw the need of something better to help the community better in a more well-rounded service. And that was the inspiration to start Contigo Creative, something that I will be able to sit down with a client and analyze their needs, and because of their needs, I'm able to design a good campaign that will engage Latinos or a multicultural.
So talk about how a multicultural advertising agency, or one that speaks to those groups, what kind of things are similar and what kind of things are different? You obviously have a niche, and there are a lot of immigrants in the city, but there are not a lot of successful immigrant, advertising agencies like yours that speak to that market. What are some of the differences that you see, and similarities on an normal basis?
And actually, that's a very good question. My forte is still the Latino market. I am Latina, and I know exactly how is the culture. But different ethnicities, we have we have a lot in common, and I think that the thing in common is you need to speak their language.
Right.
Something that is designed for everybody, and you just translate it. Sometimes just don't work.
Sure.
You really need to speak their language, and you have to understand the culture. So it is basically to understand the culture so you can speak more powerful
Sure.
to them and deliver a powerful message.
Well, speaking to that, I mean, it's the same with anybody. You don't necessarily, we don't have the context of English versus Spanish here when I speak to someone in New York versus Memphis, but there are obvious cultural differences. There are just as profound cultural differences between Mexico and Colombia and Spain and Brazil. And talk about some of those ways that, in your own experience, you've had to speak to different groups within.
That's right, yes. And what we do in that particular case, we try to stay neutral.
Sure.
So we stay away from anything that's slang, that
Sure,
maybe
sure.
one city will not, one culture will not understand. For example, there's a lot of different words used in Mexico that I don't understand because I'm from Colombia. But if you just stick with, just use proper Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
If you use proper Spanish and you stay there, that's the best way. When you do a translation, always stay with what is proper. Same in English,
Sure.
You utilize English properly, and you can talk to somebody from England or somebody from the United States
Sure.
or Australia. It's the same concept.
The personal brand is a very important part of your job search process. It's no longer about just a resume or just a cover letter. It's really a total package, and it's being able to portray what it is that you are looking for in your next job. So in addition to your resume and your cover letter, it's how you present yourself both in person and on the internet on sites like LinkedIn and on Facebook. So it's really taking a look at all of those pieces and being sure that they all match up together when you're starting to look for your next job. So when you go to an interview, it's very important that you prepare in advance. Part of your preparation is really getting that personal brand together, getting your resume updated, getting your cover letter updated, but it's also things like researching the company that you're going to interview for, understanding the role that you're going to interview for, and I often recommend that my clients take a look on LinkedIn at the folks they will actually be interviewing with, so that they can understand who those folks are, what their background is, and how they may be able to relate to them in that conversation.
Well, let's talk, switch gears a little bit to the job fair that's coming up. And one of the things I wanted to touch on as well is when you came to the U.S., what kind of things did you see when going through looking for a job? Because that's, it's daunting enough when you're coming out of college at 22 or at any age looking for a job. But when you're coming, 5 to 10,000 miles away, it's even
or
that
farther.
much, or farther. That makes it that much more difficult. So talk about some of the things that you went through to get to where you are. You're in a successful place today. Yeah.
I came to this country, and really my idea was to continue my education. But then I started a period of time, motherhood, that stopped me really for a few years, and probably it's the case of a lot of mothers or immigrants that are coming. So when my kids I had the blessing to be with them for years. So I was just a mom, housewife. For probably 7 or 8 years. So after that, I was totally ready to, start a job, and that's what I started and had the opportunity to put in place in my experience with my career in the radio field, in the radio group. So I started since then. I haven't stopped. I made the transition from that job to another media outlet, and it has been in media.
Sure.
And So it has been long time, probably a total of 10 years, but only 2 jobs, and now in my entrepreneur company for 2.5 already.
Well, so talk about you're a board member for Victory University. Education is a passion for you. Why is it important for you to be part of that, in our community?
Yes, indeed, it's a passion, because I have seen that if you don't have that level of education, it is very hard to grow. I mean, you have to,
especially for immigrants.
For immigrants, exactly. So I am very, very thankful and part of that I accept to be part of the board is Victory University is doing a fantastic job with that multicultural students, and for me, it's very rewarding to see, from the Latinos, you have like from every place almost in the world presence there, and I want to encourage them to continue their education, because that is the platform, that's the trampoline that will take them to success.
Well, and it's such a good place. I've seen it with the students that can assimilate with more cultures. A lot of immigrants stay within kind of their own subculture in pockets. But at a college or a university, you really get the chance to commingle a lot more in depth than you typically would, in your own setting, your own neighborhood.
Absolutely.
And I think that's an exciting standpoint. But so let's talk. We're here at the Hilton Hotel. You've got a fantastic event coming up on April 13th at noon. It's the first annual multicultural job fair. So talk about how a job fair like this can benefit, not just immigrants, but everybody.
Everybody, yes. When we say multicultural, it doesn't mean that, it's everybody.
Sure.
Multicultural is because we want this event to be inclusive. So we want to be multicultural, multi-ethnicity, and multi-religion. So
right.
That's what we want. And that's my inspiration, is to see all this talent in the city, from my community, from the Hispanic community, very talented new grads, for example, from Victory University. I don't want them to leave Memphis. I want these multicultural talent to stay in Memphis, because they are graduating, they have the education. There's great companies in Memphis looking for that talent. More companies want to be more diverse.
Right.
And why you want to finish your education here? You're bilingual, let's say for Hispanics. Why you want to go to Atlanta? Why you want to go to Miami? When we need them here, we want to every different group grow here in Memphis. But at the same time, they need an opportunity.
Well, and that's exactly right.
If you don't have the opportunity, then you leave.
So many people just don't feel invited to a typical job fair, and this is one of those ways of really getting getting their foot in the door of being able to network with people they would never normally get to network with.
Exactly.
And I think to that point, I told somebody recently, we often say buy local. This is a chance to keep hiring local.
Yes, and I really like that. Yes, hire local.
Yeah.
So many good talent here. Why you have to pay $10,000 to bring somebody from Utah to bring it to Memphis when you have this talent that they want to stay in Memphis, that
Memphis
they are
has become a
already
melting
here.
pot.
Yes,
a very good melting pot. Well, talk about some of the other types of things that people will get as part of this career fair. It looks like you've got some fantastic companies coming.
Fantastic, and I would like to really acknowledge our community supporters, Independent Bank, Victory University, Workforce Investment Network. We have the City of Memphis, Graduate Memphis, Leadership Memphis. We're very happy also to have as a community friends. We have the Med, and we have Methodist Le Bonheur.
Right.
As
and there's more coming as well.
Oh, yes. I mean, we have the list goes on and on and on, and you can visit www.medlev.org. jobfairmemphis.com.
Absolutely.
And you will see everybody participating as well as pre-register. It's very important to pre-register. It's a free event. The beauty of how we have designed this for the community is opportunity to network. Opportunity to network with other people from other cultures, as well as network with the companies here. That face-to-face will be very important. How big it's to really sit down and face-to-face with independent bank person that is from HR, or the Workforce Investment Network looking for talent. That is a great organization, and being able to shake hands.
Absolutely.
Same for the the regional medical center or Methodist.
Sure.
Just to have that opportunity. Second part is professional development. We are offering 9 workshops, free to attend, first come, first serve, but how to prepare a resume. If it's not a resume, how to really do your pitch to online, apply online, how to branding yourself once you're in front of somebody, what you need to do, why you don't. And basically active job search, looking for an opportunity.
So I'm here now with Brian Lowe of Contigo Creative, and Brian, thank you for being on the show. I wanted to ask you a little bit about, we had some time to speak with Alex, but with somebody that's African American who's shows the multicultural diversity that we've got with this job fair. Talk about the types of other things that will benefit people coming to the job fair.
Well, great, thank you, and thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
What any individual is going to benefit from is the first thing is they're seeking a career. There's a difference in a job and a career. A job it pays the bills. It does. It's taking a job to do what you need to do to get by and with our necessities of daily living. But also, there are people out there that are looking for careers, something that they can be a little bit more invested in, and that's where they have a career direction based upon what their skill set, their working skills, or their education, where they want to take it a little bit further. So, with this opportunity here, we're here to promote careers. Number one, career development, career networking, and career opportunities. So those are the things that I think any individual is going to get from this event.
So why is this a passion for you?
It's a passion for me because it ties back to education. And me being born in Colorado Springs, my dad was a military kid. My dad then moved back to Louisiana with my mother, and we spent I grew up really in southern Louisiana. And I went to a historically black HBCU, a historically black college university, and experienced that and got a great education from a bachelor's in therapeutic recreations and master in sport administration. So it ties back to education. Now, I made the transition from the field to the office, and that's where that career aspiration came in. My original dream was to be a professional football player, and that opportunity came and quickly gone. And I remember coming back and on the plane and looking and saying, wow, what's next? And then that's when the career set in. So that's when I had to start thinking about what I want to do long term. And that led to taking my education and moving forward into a career direction.
Sure. Well, what we've noticed as well, one of the best places to start for people to pre-register now is go to jobfairmemphis.com. What kind of things do people need to expect when they come to this type of career fair? What type of things do they need to bring?
Yeah. Well, first of all, let's talk about the expectation. This is a great venue.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you think of job fairs, you think of you think of the warehouse. You think of lines waiting outside, and dropping off your resume and just going about your daily business. But I think from a venue standpoint, we made the right decision. I think on a day that we're having it, which is Sunday, April 13th, 12 to 6. A Sunday gives a time for you to come out, be prepared mentally, physically, come out and make your best presentation. So without the constraints of any job, leaving a job and rushing and things of that nature. So we put a lot of thought into it. That's the expectation. A great venue. Also, you're going to be in front of a lot of the Memphis-based businesses that are looking for diverse candidates and talent, and looking for career-driven people. So that's good. And when I say career-driven, even from a entry to middle and upper management level opportunities. So that expectation is coming here to a great venue, looking for great opportunities, and looking to network.
Sure.
Network is very positive.
Good. Well, I appreciate it. And thank you again for being on Education
Thank you.
Network.
Appreciate it, Matt.
So whether you're 21 and you're coming right out of college, or whether you're 45 and going back to college and trying to finish up that degree, there's some important points to really keep in mind when you're starting your job search. Oftentimes you have less experience at that point in your career, less experience in the area that you're looking to move into. So it's very important, first of all, to highlight those skills on your resume and on LinkedIn that are really aligned to that next job that you're looking for. If you don't have a lot of experience, it's important to look for opportunities to volunteer your time, either at a nonprofit or at a for-profit organization, doing some of those things where you'd like to build your skill set. And last, another opportunity to grow is to both network and to volunteer your time for leadership opportunities. There are many nonprofits that look for volunteer assistance in terms of sort of board positions and leadership positions that can really help to connect you more into the community and can expose you more to areas of interest for the future. So when you go to a career fair, it's important to really prepare in advance to really make the most of it. Take a look at the companies that will be attending the fair, and if you get a chance, look at the map of the layout of the fair so you can really plan your time effectively. Be sure to bring copies of your resume as well as business cards. And even if you don't have a job today, you can easily get business cards printed that contain your name, your email address, and your phone number. Those are a great way to give your contact information to recruiters. It's also important when you're preparing for a career fair to dress appropriately and to come prepared.
One of the things that I love about Victory is that it helps develop you not only as a professional, but as a spiritual being. And I think the greatest value that I've gotten from my time here is it's helped me harness my passion to minister to people and to be a light in the world in a way that also intersects with my skill set as a counselor. So I'm really excited as I apply to graduate programs and internships outside of the school to know that I'll have a very unique Christian perspective, very hands-on, and I think I'll really be able to service people in a very special way. I think for me, graduate school has been kind of the icing on the cake. If you're a lifelong learner, if you're someone who's passionate about discovering new things, a master's degree is the time to really specialize on a topic that is true to your heart. So, in college, I feel like you kind of touch on lots of different areas. When you go to a master's program, that's the time that you really get to have more control over your education, to really get vital skill sets that will help you do very practical things in the world. So it's been a really wonderful experience here for me. Well, obviously, as we all know, the economy is struggling a little bit, but I do feel that having gotten a master's degree from a program that's prepared me very well, that I definitely have a leg up on the competition. I'm definitely much more prepared than I was when I came here. I feel like it will look very good on my applications, especially as I'm applying to the kind of community development and Christian organizations I'm interested in, to show them that I worked at a institution like Victory.
What advice do you give, you've got a child, what advice do you give them and young people today on what they need to do to be successful in their careers?
Besides having an education, I think it's also how you carry yourself and
Sure.
how you present yourself. Because, I mean, you can have a great education, but if you are not able to conduct yourself properly and really sell yourself well, it's bad. So you need to.
And that's coming from a marketing expert.
Exactly. You really need to know what to say, how to say.
Sure.
That protocol, I think some young professionals are lacking of that part, and thinking that because I have a college degree,
Some older professionals too.
that will give you automatically the key of success,
Right.
and it's not the case
Sure.
at all. I mean, that is a huge portion. But another portion is yourself, how you're conducting yourself, how you are, simple things like face to face, smile, turn off your cell phone, just simple tips that somebody that is interviewing you, they're checking you out.
Well, one thing I noticed on all the flyers is you've got branding all over the place, with the exception of you've just got a small place for you. And that shows that this is not about Contigo Creative. So speaking to that, why is this such a passion for you?
It is, and I mean, really comes straight from my heart. You want your logo. I really don't want the logo of Contigo Creative. I'm just the vehicle
Sure.
to make this possible. Contigo Creative is really the last of my priorities at this point. My priorities for this event, and this is truly the goal that I want for this event, is to be able to connect major companies with an opportunity, and that somebody will catch the opportunity
Sure.
and make that match.
Sure.
That's what I want. I want our sponsors to be very happy because they are investing in this event, as well as all the talent, that they will take advantage
Absolutely.
of this and will recognize and will say, I'm going there. I
Sure.
will be there. That is really my goal. After everything that it's fulfilled and complete, then I can think about
Well, and
me.
if you help one person get a job, it will be, everything will have been worthwhile. And just showing that investment in Memphis is truly making a difference. I just want to thank you for being on Education That Works.
Thank you so much, Kenneth, for having me
Absolutely.
here. It's a pleasure being here and talking about this great event, April 13th, at the Hilton Hotel from 12 till 6.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So if you or anyone else you know was inspired by any of today's stories, or if you want to help improve your career, earn a college degree, or possibly change our world, then I urge you today to go to aneducationthatworks.com. On behalf of Victory University, thank you for an education that works.